Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today is a day in the life thrift with me. I'm so excited. We were going back to the area that we used to live in, and it is an hour-and-a-half drive though, so we had to leave pretty early. So got up, made some coffee in a to-go cup, got ready really quick, loving the vintage makeup mirrors still. And then we were on the road. It was still dark. So the first place we went to was this 1950s style diner that we used to go to. I think we've probably been going here for 15 or 16 years. We used to go here before we were vegan even, but now we can only get like home fries. It's the only thing that's vegan. So I just love it there so much. It's usually really busy though, so I was happy that it wasn't very busy, so I could show you a little bit of it. It has like an open kitchen too. I don't know, it's just cool. Anyway, the prices are amazing too. We both got this huge plate of home fries, coffee, and John got an order of toast as well. And it was only $11, which was pretty crazy. But I wanted to fuel up for the day of thrifting ahead. So then we went to one of my favorite thrift stores ever. I'm not sure if I've ever showed it before because it's usually super busy. But it is run by volunteers, and the proceeds go to the hospital. I want to say that it's for premature babies, but I don't know if that's solely where the profit goes. But it's just amazing. It's so cozy. It's not very big, but it's usually very busy. The prices are incredible in here, like so dirt cheap. I've found so many good things in this thrift store over the years, but obviously, we don't live in the area anymore, so I can never go anymore. It's not typically open during, like, on Saturdays or Sundays, I don't think. So we were here on a Thursday. John had taken a couple days off work so that we could go to different communities and source for the upcoming, like, holiday season. I noticed they had this really beautiful set of china here. They had so many pieces. It'd be great if somebody was looking for a set of china for that many pieces, especially. I feel like they had every probably piece that was part of the china. It's a pretty good price too for an entire set of china that big. They had lots of serving dishes and things too, so. So the first kind of area I went to check out was the kind of linen section. Since I have decided I should start collecting vintage sheets more, I figured I would take a look and see. They had some really nice homemade blankets. I was really considering whether or not I should get them. They're pretty inexpensive too, but I have so many already. I'm like, do I need more? But I don't know. They were really cheap compared to some thrift stores, so I really liked that yellow one too, but I did ultimately pass on it because I was going to a lot of places that day, so I didn't want to not like spend, I don't know, I wanted to be like really sure of what I wanted to buy because I knew I was going to be in a bunch of thrift stores, so. I don't think these were vintage, but I did really like these. And they were a queen size as well. And I'm kind of regretting not getting them because they kind of match my duvet cover. My duvet cover is green and white, but it kind of has the same sort of pattern to it. So it probably actually would have looked really good. And it has like a slight vintage feel to it, but I ended up passing on them. And I thought these were really pretty too, but I didn't end up getting those either. They kind of seem a little more 80s to me. So then they have a section. Most of what's in here is clothing, but then they do have this little section that has hard goods in it. So I thought I would take a look. Over the years, I've found so many really old vintage items here. They didn't have Christmas, though they did have a little bit of Christmas stuff out actually, but not a large amount. This was very early November. I actually think this was November 9th. It was the day after my birthday. So I thought I would take a look. I love these little things. This one isn't vintage, but there's a lot of very cute vintage ones for tea bags. This made me laugh a lot. Does anybody remember that stupid infomercial for this laptop, like from, I don't know, early 2000s? I haven't seen one in a thrift store for a very long time, so just thought that was funny. I thought I was being helpful in putting this coffee pot back to the percolator, but it actually didn't fit in that one. So I don't know. There's a percolator with no pot, and then there's a pot with no percolator, but it wasn't going to fit. So, and then very excitedly, I feel like I manifested this. I've been collecting these white Corelle. I think it's called Winter Frost is the color, or White Frost. I can't remember. Okay, it's actually called French White. I'm not sure where I was getting the winter and the frost from, but anyway, I have found all the pieces that I wanted except for the divided dish. So I had just said to John maybe a week or two earlier, now I just need to find a divided dish, and I found it. So it was $8, which isn't bad at all considering how much they cost new. So I'm very, very excited. Now I have all the pieces that I wanted. I found this Tupperware canister, which I was tempted to get, but if you watch my kitchen tour, I do have a few pieces of it, but I feel like I have enough that the space is filled. I really need to like make wise decisions on like what I actually have room for. So I ended up leaving it behind. I did consider getting it to like resell, but I felt like it wasn't actually worth it. So I ended up leaving it behind. This set of dishes caught my eye right away. I thought they were really pretty. I'd never seen them before, and I turned it over and realized that they were Corningware. But yeah, I think it's a really cute pattern. If I didn't already have dishes, I might have been tempted to get those, but I did leave them behind because I don't need them. I believe they wanted $20 for those, and it was 8 plates, 8 smaller plates, and 8 glass or mugs, which that's pretty good price. But I feel like reselling dishes is hard because they're heavy and shipping costs are already crazy in Canada, so it just didn't make sense to me. So on the back side of that little kind of cube that we were just in is where they usually put seasonal things. So I went back and to have a look. They didn't have a ton of Christmas stuff out, but I think they had a few things, but nothing that really interested me. It was more like modern kind of stuff or like 90s looking stuff. They do have a substantial book section, and their books are really cheap too. They have a decent selection of cookbooks here. In fact, I feel like some of my best cookbook finds have happened in this store. So I always like to look there as well when we're there. I found this little kind of like mini cookbook, like magazine type style. I did end up getting that. I think I'll show you at the end of the video everything I ended up getting on this day. One of the main reasons why we went was so I could visit an antique store, which I just posted in my last video, and a antique mall, which will be my next video. Just as we were kind of walking to the cash, I noticed this sweater. I deeply regret not getting this. It basically looks like a blanket, but it's actually a sweater with a hood. I deeply, deeply regret not getting this. I think it's so cool. I'm like, I could have been rocking that around my house every day. And then while John was checking out, I did just run over to this other little section. I noticed this little bean. I think this was like a whole series in the 80s, but it was very cute. So then we went to Salvation Army. This is like my Salvation Army. This is the Salvation Army I went to for, I don't know, like 15 years. And it's very tiny, but I used to love going here. Like, there were so many times when I was feeling sad or having anxiety, and I would just drive to the store and go in and just spend like an hour in there looking around. The ladies who worked there at the time, I don't think they're still there, but they're so nice, and I don't know, it would just make me feel better like every single time I would go there. So I always have like so much nostalgia to go to the store. I used to have huge racks full of VHS, but I'm pretty sure I was like the sole buyer of the majority of what they used to have. So they did have some Christmas stuff out, which also surprised me because typically, like historically anyway, the Salvation Army generally waits until after Remembrance Day on November 11th to put out Christmas, but they actually had some Christmas, because I remember to this store, I used to go every November 12th because I knew that they would have put their Christmas stuff out, so I could get good stuff. I used to find a ton of retro stuff. In fact, a lot of my like 60s and 70s Christmas stuff came from this store. It's like the place where I kind of started getting a lot of vintage Christmas. So they didn't have a whole lot out that I was interested in, though, in terms of Christmas. A lot of it, I feel like that's just how it is now. It's like all like modern looking, like 90s, maybe 2000s looking stuff. But I don't know. See, now everybody like knows how much they can sell vintage stuff for, so I feel like it's just rare to see it in a thrift store, because if people have it, they don't want to donate it. But they did have a bunch of lights, which I was interested in. I do like vintage lights versus newer ones. I don't know, I've talked about this before, but the colors are slightly different. Maybe I'm just crazy, but I see a difference in the colors, and I just like the old colors better, even though it's super slight and most people probably wouldn't even notice. I swear I do notice. I loved these glasses with the green stripe on them. I thought they were cute, but I definitely do not need any more glasses. It would have to be something really amazing, and I would have to like plan to get rid of something I already have in order to make room for more, but they were cute anyway. And then I went over to the display case to see what they had. They didn't really have very much in there. To be honest, I'm not sure why these salt and pepper shakers were in there. I don't think they're that old or like special, but maybe I'm wrong. But I have actually found some good stuff in the display case as well. I think it's like a deer and a lamb planters from my bathroom. They came from that display case. I did end up getting a bunch of vintage cards though. I spent a long time looking through the cards, but I just didn't film that because it's not really that interesting. But I had to go look at the linens too, because Salvation Army I feel like is the best place to find linens. They're usually only about $2 and they usually have a lot of old ones. I didn't unfortunately see any in there today that interested me. We did see this, what is it, Toy Story? Yeah, Toy Story sheets, but we looked them up and we didn't feel like it was worth buying them to resell, but it was still cool. I think they were from the 90s, but actually, I lied. I did get this pillowcase. I forgot about that, even though I just looked at it last night. I have so many videos filmed and I've been thrifting in so many places that everything's blurring together and I'm forgetting where things came from. I was thinking that I got that at a different store, but nope, there it is. That was, I think, the only one I found in this store though. So like I said, one of the main reasons I wanted to go was to go to that antique store, which was my last video filled with vintage Christmas. And then right next door to that store, I believe the same people started it, was an antique mall. And that was my first time in an antique mall and it was amazing. And that will be next video on Thursday, I think. So it had been like probably 5 hours. So we stopped to get something to eat. There's a fast food place called Harvey's. I don't know if it's just in Canada, but we don't have very many of them, but they have such good veggie burgers. They're like my favorite veggie burgers. So I was like, well, we're in the area, we should get veggie burgers. So I just brought a piece of vegan cheese and some vegan mayo with me because I don't like mustard or ketchup on a burger. So anyway, that was great. And then we went to this place called M&M Meat Market, which is hilarious because I just finished telling you that we're vegan. But they actually have these vegan and gluten-free squares that are frozen that you just like cut up yourself. And my mom, actually, because she was gluten-free, and I guess you could say she was mostly vegan, she was really supportive of that. So anyway, she had bought them one time when I was staying with her while she was doing like her chemotherapy. So I was like, we should go and get those again because they were really, really good. But they actually had 2 different kinds. So we ended up getting them and I'm super excited. They're so good. They actually had to have a few things that are plant-based in here. I think this is like, I don't know if that's pesto or if it's made out of potato. I've never had it before. But this pasta I thought looked really delicious, but it would be not gluten-free pasta, so I would not choose to eat that. I thought this Spanish rice looked really good though, too. Basically, this is a store that's just filled with nothing but like pre-made things. I don't know if they have this store outside of Canada either. But they didn't have it well, they don't have it where we live, but they used to not have it back in this area either for a while. Anyway, enough about that. Then we went to the thrift store that I used to work at, and I was really hoping that my boss would be there, and I knew he was because he drives a Tesla, so the Tesla was parked out front, so I knew he was going to be in there. His wife was there too, which was really great because I hadn't seen them in a long time. So I actually didn't end up filming a ton in here, even though that was my plan. But it's because I was just chatting with them so much, and we had a super long day, and we had like an 1.5-hour drive to get home as well. So but it's a massive, massive thrift store. But I'm so glad that we went and that they were there. I did find some good things, including this Singer sewing book. It's so cool. It's from 1974, I think. And I know I've already said this a couple of times, but I can tell you that a ton of my vintage items came from me working at this thrift store because we didn't have any rules at the thrift store. Like if I saw something that I wanted, I could just buy it while I was like unpacking. So we didn't have to like put stuff out first for customers, which was great for me, probably bad for the store, but I mean, I guess they were getting money anyway, so what does it matter? But yeah, there's a ton of records at this store. A lot of them, I didn't bother looking through them, but from when I worked here, I would look through them all the time. So I feel like I've probably seen most of them. A lot of them were old country records, which I have no interest in. I did see these vintage curtains that I really liked, but I just have nowhere to put them. I'm pretty good on curtains. There's a certain type of curtain I want for the living room that I've just been stalking eBay for I don't know, I guess 3 years. Eventually, hopefully I'll find them. But it's cool. I remember some of the same displays are set up, like this big display here with all the china in it. Like my coworker, she set all that up back when we were working there. She doesn't work there anymore either, which I'm kind of sad about because I loved going in the store after I stopped working there and seeing her there. But we would have so much fun together. We actually worked together at a different place years prior to that. And I had actually worked with her dad before too. But especially at Christmas time, those are like some of my favorite memories from working there is Christmas time. We would always play Christmas music, and our boss hated Christmas music, so we would drive him crazy with it. I'm still not sure what this is, but I remember this being here when I worked here. And I stopped working there in 2019. So it's been a while. Still hanging out. I remember when we got these shelves though, before we didn't have these shelves. And I remember setting everything up and like, I don't know, it's cool. This is very as seen on TV, except like probably from the 70s. It's also a consignment shop, so we would get a lot of estates, like entire estates we would get, which is where all of the like gold mine stuff would be. So yeah, we'd just be like unpacking boxes and boxes of stuff, and like you would never know what would be in there because a lot of times the area that we live in, like the province we live in, I guess, is very, most people move away because there's not a lot of jobs here or like as many opportunities, I guess. So a lot of younger people will move away. So then when older people pass away, like nobody wants to, like people, maybe their family doesn't live here, so they'll just pack up their entire estate. Like I feel like that happens just a lot here. So during my time working here, I definitely unearthed some insane finds. Like, holy, I can't believe that somebody would just bring this here. Or I guess it's consigned, but still, like, it was a 50-50 split. So it's like you could have just sold this yourself and made so much more money. But it was great for us, and especially great for me because I was able to get a ton of stuff. They also have a huge section of books. Like, it's even bigger than it used to be. And then they have a ton of movies too. I remember, I think like a movie store was closing out or something, and that's how my boss got those shelves. But I kind of wish I had them for my little like basement video store. But I didn't bother looking at the DVDs today. They used to have a lot of VHS too, but I feel like I also bought a lot of those. But so I didn't think that they had many VHS, but then I found a whole bookshelf filled with them. So I'm so glad too that I took the time to look through them, because I found so many good VHS. I couldn't believe it. They also have a cookbook section. I will say that probably half of my Better Homes and Gardens cookbooks came from the store, like this store too. It was great because sometimes we wouldn't be very busy. It's a little bit out of the way. So sometimes you'd be working by yourself too. So you're by yourself. There's no customers. So I would just like look through things like for myself. Like I remember one day I was there for 6 or 7 hours without a customer, and I was by myself. So I didn't even have anyone to talk to. So I feel like I remember one day specifically. I don't know if it was the same day, but I went through every single cookbook and just made a big stack of the ones I wanted. So that Bette Davis movie on the top there had just played on Turner Classic Movie for Creepy Tuesdays. So it was on my mind. So as soon as I saw the title, I knew what the movie was. And so I grabbed it, and then I ended up finding a bunch more Bette Davis movies. So someone obviously was a Bette Davis fan and donated their movie. So I'm so happy that I took the time to look through, because initially I was thinking these are probably all the same from years ago, but I'm happy I took the time to look through. I did also find this Kleenex box holder that you put on the wall, and I feel like it will fit in with my more like late 60s, 70s vibe that I want to change my bathroom to. So I did end up getting that as well. I tried to do like kind of a big overview so you could kind of grasp how big the store is. And then while we were checking out, they have stuff behind the glass. And I noticed these old Playboys. He said somebody brought in like boxes and boxes of them, but I loved this one at the top there. It was like a snowman, but it was like a bunny head. So I don't know. I just thought it was cute. Anyway, then we headed home after that. So we actually made it home in a decent amount of time, considering we had gone for so long. But this is one of the square things that we got. I had not tried this one before, but the other one is the one that my mom had bought, which this one does look really good too. We actually have tried some of it since, actually, so it is good. But this one, I love Nanaimo bars, and like they're probably one of my favorite desserts ever. So I had all of these before from my mom buying them, so I was very happy about that. We also found some smoked Gouda vegan cheese slices, because I always go into grocery stores and other areas to see if we can find things, and they actually had my favorite vegan sour cream. It's so hard to find where we live now, and just the other ones just are not as good. This is utterly like perfection. And then they did also have some festive noggin stock, which I was excited about. This stuff sells out so fast that even though it was only in like the beginning of November, it was like we have to get some now while I see it. So got a couple of those, which I was very excited about. Little Marley, she was so excited we were home. I always feel so bad when we leave and go out. Like we used to have, 2 cats, and our other cat passed away. And they were sisters, so they were together their whole life. So I always feel just so bad for her, because it must be so weird for her not having like her sibling, but then like when we're gone, she's truly alone. So now I'll show you everything that I ended up getting that day. So real quick, like I showed the divided dish. It's in such good condition too for only $8. I'm So happy with that find. And then I did, I think I showed this little like cookbook kind of magazine. It's originally from the 50s, I think, but this was like the 1972 printing, but it has super cute illustrations like you'd find in 50s and 60s cookbooks. Just thought it was super cute. And then I did get a bunch of like vintage Christmas cards, which I'll just kind of like speed through, and you can see there's quite a few really cute ones. There's some more modern ones too, but I just think there's some really cute ones. Like I love this pink one with the candle. Just, I don't know, I'm thinking about using them to decorate with maybe. And then I might use like some to send out. I always buy my cards from thrift stores though, like almost all the time, unless I need a specific card that I don't have. I don't always look at them, but lately I have started looking through every single time, looking for really old vintage ones, and I've actually had a lot of success. And then I showed the pillowcase as well. This, I think, is very similar to a pillowcase that I've also recently picked up, or maybe a sheet that I picked up. Like I said before, everything's blending together because I've been going out so much lately. I think I did get a blue sheet, and I was thinking, oh, this could match, so got that. I love when you can still see the tag. And then I did end up getting a bunch of the lights. They were pretty cheap, I think like $1, and then I think the bigger set might have been $3, but it also came with an extension cord, so it was definitely worth it. And then I've actually been looking for one of these for a long time. It kind of folds together, but it folds out. And my mom always used it for like her knitting project, like her current knitting project. So I've been kind of trying to look for one that I could use it in the same way. So I'm glad I found that one. And then like I showed before, this sewing book from the thrift store I used to work at. Love it. I just love the whole look of it. It's so cool. And then the tissue holder that you can hang on the wall. Excited about that. And then I did also get this plain white loaf pan. I've been trying to collect just plain white ones for something, so I've been trying to pick them up all the time. And yeah, like I said, this Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, I saw that and instantly like knew what movie it was, so I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then I found this one and I found another one. I just kept finding more and more, so I think there might have been like 8 or 10 total Bette Davis movies. And then there was a few other movies as well. There was one Bette Davis movie though that I love, that I wanted. It's called Now Voyager, and I was like, oh, it's too bad they didn't have Now Voyager, but then I realized that I already actually have it, so that's cool. It was definitely a very good day for classic movie finding. Anyway, that is everything that I ended up getting on this particular thrift day. And like I said, in the next video will be the antique mall, which was so amazing. It's my very first time in an antique mall. And yeah, it's just so cool. I wish that I just had hundreds of dollars that I could just spend on vintage things, because there was so many good things in this antique mall. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.